do a little bit of walk, stretch my back up a little bit more. Doing some spinny twists. So it's a little bit more while we get into the line. That's one right there is one of the sports I've had the most hope and excitement for ordinary activity. You're sitting here, there's a camera kind of around here, pointing at that. And I, at that time, had my cell phone and another phone open on the chat. This one was live streaming. I had my speaker and Bluetooth speaker close to this camera. And then I would open a microphone feed to my Bluetooth speaker from there so you can hear me from a distance. And before we had a mic, we made a plan. And during that stream, we managed to reach more than half a million people. Right? Good night, I'm back. How are you? I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I'm thinking about the excitement we feel and the hope that it brings. That train has looked different before. Looks very strange. Yeah. And again, right? Like, even though none, not even one, of the excitements I have in that rock. Where are you? I'm somehow. Maybe house. Maybe try to. That's where I'm really sitting. Uh, None of the hope that I had on that rock has come true. Technically. Like literally, none of them. It's like the hope I had at that point was very much Arpan adjacent. I remember Arpan having like a whole. Did I? I think I did. Cuteness. Mel, why is Mel not actually talking? I can hear burps and shit. Why can't I hear him? Because I erroneously left my microphone there. Oops. Oops, my bad. I'll just say everything I just said again. We can hear you now. Hey, human. Thank you. Did Melt lose his voice? No, I did not. I was trying to tell you about the excitement we have and hope. And I was making it from like this frame where there was a shot quite like this, just like this, where I was sitting there using my cell phone to turn my microphone feed into a Bluetooth signal that I would send to my speaker that was close to the camera so I can have a microphone set up. And it's funny how now I do have a microphone set up. I sometimes misuse it, like I just did, missing the point a little bit. But the thing I want to talk about today is the hope we feel in excitement. And I was sharing a little bit about my excitement and the hope that I had in that space, right? Because that was the space, that shot was the moment we reached 660,000 people, right? More than 500,000 human beings was here on the farm with me on that day. And when you see numbers like that, it excites you. And when you are excited like that, you take on this air of hope, this feeling of what things could be, all right? And that hopefulness can be very uplifting, to say it in so many words. The thing that I also shared, as I talked about that rock, is the fact that not a single one of the hopes I had in that excitement had come true. Or at least, not yet, at the very least, right? But that was still during the ARPAN days. And ARPAN at that point, I believe, had like a convention. They were sending out t-shirts and they sent me a community voted $100 gift. I asked for a freaking light whip that I don't use much. Could have asked for something better, but alas, right? Arpan literally sent me something, right? Sent me something of real dollar value because I was a loved creator on that platform. And I imagined it continuing, and I imagined it giving me the reach that it was giving me, and I imagined it becoming very impactful, very influential on my life trajectory. And then, unfortunately, that platform went away. And with it, all of the hopes that we as creators for that platform had for it. And it's interesting how now, come a while later, I find myself again in the same kind of circumstances with a platform that gives me a great deal of hope for what can be. And yeah, I would have not guessed. Like, again, these are one of those things that might influence the way you see me. And I'm not sharing it from the perspective. I'm sharing it from the perspective of being very insecure that you see me in a negative light because of stuff like this, right? Because that's the last thing that I want. But I want to share it from the place of excitement and the hope that it brings me. We managed to hit more than $100,000 market cap yesterday on Zora. Like, last that I checked, it was like up to like 114, 119,000 dollar market cap. I own at least 1% of my own token right now, and I own more than sometimes 1% of the tokens in my actual flowers. So the amount of value, let me just say it like that, that has been generated on Zora, it's like it's mind-boggling. It's like actually, my brain has a hard time processing it. The fact that they're in 25 days, that's how long my Zora profile's been active for. 25 days. To give you an idea, right? And I did this with my dad yesterday. Me and dad had a chat about this, where I had him sit down and I showed him all of my metrics, right? My Patreon metrics. I showed him my YouTube metrics. Uh, and I showed him my yoga, my yoga income metrics as well. And you can see there's like a life signal, but it's like it's on life support. It's like it's just like taking gasps of air, barely really making a dent on the graph, kind of vibes. And then I show him my page, my YouTube, and with YouTube over the last 5 years, it's going on the 6th year, right? Am I completing my 5th year? I started at the start of 2021. Yeah, I'm completing my 5th year. We're going on it, right? Coming on fast. I've earned $2,200. And again, you might be like, wow, that's good money. If it was ad revenue, it's not. It's most of it is you friends. Most of it is your membership donations and direct donations, right? Most of it is that. So in the last 5 years, 5 years, we've been able to earn $2,200 through YouTube. You're very sweet. That's nice, Blitz. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Love is true. We're talking about the hope that comes with excitement, and I'm sharing what is exciting me right now, right? And why it's exciting me, and what I imagine it looks like in the future, and how excited I believe other people might end up becoming, right? So that's the contrast. 4 years, 8 months of daily creation every day, not missing a singular day, right? I'm uploading shorts as well. I tried upload videos and stuff. Daily creation made $2,200. And then in contrast, the Zora that I have right now, my Zora profile question: are you single? If you don't mind. Unfortunately, I am not. I am to be married. Thank you though for asking. I'm still hot though, so you can look at me all you want. I'm sorry. Love is true. Back to my point. We can 100%, if we wanted to, get more than that today, right? So think of it like you're working for a workplace, and the workplace, are you gay? No, indeed you are. I'm lucky. Jeez. Oh, suddenly I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not blushing. Uh, yeah. So after four and a half, let's say, years of daily content creation, I was able to create X value, right? And then on another platform, after 25 days of content creation, I've been able to create X value. Technically, I think X point 5, right? 1.5x. He is a nice guy to everyone. I'm bottom boy. Please stop judging. You're a bottom boy. I won't judge you. There's no judgment in me. But it's one of those things where if you share information like that, it's like people have to imagine what it means, right? And people can't help themselves but judge when they see information they don't like potentially. There's a houtkapper, a woodpecker on that tree. He's the one who made that sound. I don't know if you can see him. Is this my zoom lens? Oops, back again. He's on that side of that tree. Oh, there he goes. Oh man. I wish I had better lenses. One day I'll have better lenses, and then I'll be able to like show you the little fluffs of feathers under those little burby cheeks. I will. Oh my goodness, what? You're in the middle of nowhere. Yes. Yes, I am in the middle of nowhere. It's true. Smack dab in the middle of Africa. You know, it's out here in the wild. There are literal mountain lions and stuff in this area. They haven't seen them, but I've been told. And monkeys, kudus, like just these wild big deer. I have, in a state of meditation, meditating here in the morning, meditated so hard that a small little, what we call a duiker, it's like a very small type of deer species. I'm just now clicking that I didn't have my external screen here with me. How about that? A small little deer, you know, like a deer that weighs less than 50 pounds. Probably like a way less than 50 pounds, but it's like a 50-pound deer, max 50-pound deer. And I'm like meditating. And then this deer just like walks into the yard and looks at me. And I'm like super meditatiosos, right? Zazening. And I'm like, hey, I am peace creature. You are peace creature. I see you. And then it kind of like walked. And I shit you not, it felt like minutes. I mean, maybe it was a long time, but it felt like just like minutes later, 2 minutes later, a bunny, a bunny makes the same kind of like sweep walking past me. And I was like, oh wow, I am officially Disney princess. This is how it works. This is how it happens. And I've never been able to get an experience like that again meditating. I need to meditate more. I need to give myself more chance to, I think. Terrifier. I don't know if I want to know. Thank you, Sam, for keeping space safe. I appreciate it. I think I might miss some. Mm-mm-mm. I'm tired, Moon, but I'm plugging along. How are you, dear? Are you feeding yourself and sleeping all right? Do hope so. Yes, I am. And you're the first person to ask me this question in years. Thank you. Bless you, friend. Words don't have power until your brain puts weight on them. That's true. Moon, in my family, aunt is a title you earn. You can call me Aunt Sam. You call me Aunt Sam, and I'm gonna act like. I mean, you are a mom now as well, Sam. Like you're firmly in the aunt territory now. Not that you're old, but that you're aunt. Question: Are you single? Bless, friend. Thank you. Indeed, you're gonna marry a guy. No, no. Unfortunately, I am not single. Unfortunately, unfortunate for that person, right? If a person asks you, "Are you single?" Right? I'm gonna be like, "Unfortunately for you, not unfortunately for me. Unfortunately for you, no." I'm gonna have to give you an answer you might not want to hear, right? Where again, if you're going out of your way to ask a person if they're single, that kind of like takes a little bit of skin in the game, and then finding out that this person is not going to be, interested. That's unfortunate. That's the way I see it, at least. Me justifying. Please let me watch you correct him, Jovan. Jovan and me are so chill. Sam, me and Jovan have an understanding with one another that transcends what I even thought possible. Mm, dude, where's Aunt Jovan? She might be. Sleeping in. I think she might be sleeping in. I haven't received any good morning messages. Yeah, she's probably sleeping in. You're in the middle of nowhere. I wish I was too. It's nice being in the middle of nowhere. I can agree. I wish you and your boyfriend a beautiful marriage. Thank you, Bureau. That's so nice. Auntie Joe is probably already at work, I'm guessing, or she's doing Jovan things. She'll be here eventually, maybe. It's scary. Be careful out there. Chill guy. Help. Bud is seating in a park kind of place, not in the middle of African jungle where a lion is lurking at him. Yeah, there's no lions here, at least. It's been tamed enough to not have to worry about a lion kind of like pouncing on me. Like, there's no real. I'm the biggest predator in this environment. Let me just say it that way. I'm the most dangerous thing here. Most of the things out here are scared of me. Not me specifically, but humans. But me specifically. And you should be too. I don't know why is it like that? What is it in people that want to be just slightly feared, just a little bit feared, right? It's like, you better not fuck with me. I could be dangerous. I could be dangerous. Better be just a little bit scared. Just a little bit terrifier. You should be terrified. Yo, Moon, where have you been? Do I know you, Adam? What is your name? My name is MeltMore. My name is MeltMore. Inviting everyone to the wedding. Whose name are you asking? No, Moon. I'm only here in the day, not at night when the moon's out, so you don't know me. Guys, I see a lion. Lion is behind the guy with the blue t-shirt. There's a guy with a blue t-shirt behind me, and there's a lion behind him. No, you're the guy with a blue t-shirt. I don't think this is a t-shirt, technically. Right? No, it's you. That's exactly the response I wanted. Yes. I'm skizzing brains. I'm skizzing brains from a distance. Get your brains. Get your brains skizzed. Were you being eclipsed at this time? Where the moon you've been? I need better Riz lines. I think you can start there. I think using the word Riz is already anti-Riz, unfortunately. Do you consider weed as a drug? I don't, actually. But again, I think if you have to talk about it pharmacologically, it is. But again, if we're going to be talking about it from those technicalities, then coffee is a drug and alcohol is a drug. And paracetamol is a drug, right? Nicotine is a drug. We have so many drugs that we consume on the daily as human beings. And again, the way that I see it, what I consider a drug, almost like in my own nomenclature, is something that you are compelled to do even when it's against your better judgment. In other words, right? For instance, let's say I had something important for me to do, right? I had to lock in, I had an interview, I had some sort of, setup that I had to get built in a timely manner. And then, if I couldn't help myself, but I just had to smoke a bunch of weed before my interview or before I had to crunch time and get something done, then I would be using it as a drug, right? Where there are drugs like that, like the dopamine. Stop barking at stuff. The dopamine dudes, they do that, right? They want you to high dopamine and then do the thing because you want to be in that state of like, I'm the best, I'm great, everything's great, this is fantastic. And that to me is kind of like drug kind of experience, right? And then there's of course the escaping from pain, which is also something that you get encouraged to do because when you're not escaped from the pain, you are in the pain. So you want to escape from the pain. So there's like a perpetual cycle. Using despite your best intention. Yeah. You feel that, Papa Joe? It's nice that you're here, bro. Like you've shared with us what you've shared with us, and I won't bring that into this space unless you want to. But it is one of those things where if you've had, if you've known, the experience of seeing that, this is not good for my life. For instance, feel free to share, bro. uh like I'll share almost like from my perspective. Papa Joe shared with us that he escaped a life of actual addiction, right? With what I would consider, like the more hard to kick drugs. And one of those hard to kick drugs that I was very enthralled by, let's say, is games. And those are also dopamine acting substances, to say it in so many words, right? So games to me are also drugs. Because again, I was playing games even though it was in my best intention not to. All right. I was playing games when it would have been better for me to study math. I was playing games when it would have been better for me to build some sort of skill. I was playing games when it would be better for me to, be out there in the world, learning things about myself and other people. And it took a lot of almost like showing myself experientially how my life is in fact worse if I continue doing this thing that's against my best intentions, right? And I feel like that's almost what it takes for you to break a addictive habit that doesn't serve you, is you have to really acknowledge your trajectory, and then you have to choose a new path. You'd be like, nope, I will in fact not walk that path. And for what it's worth, on your question of do I think weed is a drug, I plan on stopping again. Me and Jovan kind of showed up with the intention to take a whole month off before we see one another, so that we can show up for each other with like that extreme clarity, and we can embrace that experience together through that extreme clarity, and come into our experience alongside one another and have that openness with and for each other, right? So you can do things again, right, in the same vein, with the intention of actually bettering your life as well, right? If you can't stop yourself despite your better uh, despite your best intentions, I'm almost like paraphrasing myself now. Yeah, your best intentions, using despite your best intention, you can, with the best intentions, use. And I don't know if I'd recommend the dopamine or opioid stuff, kind of like directly. But again, we can think of it from a very practical perspective. If you were, for instance, on a hike, maybe it's like a 120-kilometer hike, 100-mile hike, right? And it was like through the mountains, and it is like in a very rural area, and you have to like camp multiple nights. Having something like a stimulant, right? Like a Ritalin or Vyvanse, I think is one of the American brands called. Having a tool like that you can use with the intention of just giving yourself a little bit more, literally, pep in your step, because you need to step 160 kilometers of it, right? Then you want some. Then, with that intention in mind, you kind of want some pep in your step. However, if you're putting pep in your step while being behind a desk job, now suddenly that like momentum, is like crashing against your body, I believe at the very least, destroying you. Again, if you take your nutrients into consideration and you take good care of yourself, it will hardly be noticeable. And then again, talking about these like tools and best intentions, same thing for the pain suppressants, right? Again, if I just broke my fucking leg in half, right, on said hike, right, guess what? Having one of my friends have some sort of opioid in their bag, to just temporarily seat my pain, my broken in half leg, while a helicopter or whatever comes in to like airlift me out, right? Suddenly, that's the right intention to use it on. If I'm just like chilling next to the fire and I'm taking painkillers to just have a good time, right? I think that's where it comes in, and I feel like our whole society is gonna have to have like a moment of reckoning with this conversation, especially because we tried demonizing, we tried uh, prohibition, we tried policing, we tried, the war even on drugs. Never mind policing, we've tried the war on drugs. None of it has worked. None of it has worked. In fact, we've only hurt more people. Our prisons are full. Our the amount of money just alone that we've put into trying to stop something that's inevitable, right? If we build proper systems, if we build proper educational like channels, if we build facilities that actually serve people that did fall off the wagon, so to say, that lost the lost the plot, then we would have probably saved money. We would have probably saved money in so many vectors, and our society would be better for it. Because again, like it is, we call it the war on drugs, but it is a war on consciousness, ultimately, right? It's a war on that part of humanity that has the desire to alter its own consciousness, right? And that has been a primordial part of our experience for all of human existence, right? Altered experiences can come through something like chanting, can come through something like meditation or breath work, or can just suddenly come. I've had moments where I'm just suddenly like feeling this sense of like, whoa, deja vu, for example, just deja vu, suddenly, like the psychedelic experience, like, what's happening? Why does reality suddenly feel so odd to me? Right? Like, we human beings seek out these kinds of experiences. I don't know if you enjoy deja vu, but we usually acknowledge and talk about when we have deja vu, like, we let people know, like, whoa, what the hell? Right? Because there is something about our experiential consciousness, right, and the changes and shifts that we can notice within it that facilitates growth in this life, right? And as soon as somebody tries to tell you how you're supposed to grow, how you are and how you are not supposed to grow, like you're like gonna have a hard time. Oh, you're gonna fight against something that's it's probably not gonna want to stop you, or you're gonna fight against something that's not gonna be able to stop you. Not gonna be able to be stopped. Sugar is the worst drug ever. Yeah, so easy to get it everywhere. So hard to not get it in anything. No moon. Okay, I think I'm catching up. That's pretty saying. Mel doesn't use Rizla. He got expensive equipment. It's true. Rizla adds an extra layer of stuff being combusted. And when there's combustion, there is potentially the liberation of little carbon nanomolecules. And those little carbon molecules are sharper, technically, on a molecular level than knives are in every direction. And then they stab into you, into your softy, softy bits. We don't want that. No, no, we don't. Weed can calm you down, but drugs can kill you. Oh, yeah, it's true. It's hard to kill yourself with weed in that way, right? It's like maybe that's also another thing. It's like the toxicity. If you accidentally do too much of it, like, and that's the thing with the opioids, right? With fentanyl, if you dipped your finger, right? Maybe you see a little baggie and you're like, oh, this is fentanyl, right? Oh, this is fentanyl, and you're like, oh, I'm kind of curious what this is like, and you just like take a pinch, right? Not like you're trying to take like a bunch. You're just like you take a little pinch, and there's like 20 crumbs, like 20 little crumbs between your fingertips, and you go dead, insta dead. You die. If you don't have any like Narcan or something available to you, you're just dead, right? And again, I don't have any experience with that, and it's because of that reason, where I'm like, hell to the fuck no. Where no, like something that powerful should not be brought close to human consumption, right? And now they've made something even more powerful than that, carfentanil, right? Holy shit. No, 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 no. Yeah, don't mess with things that kill you. Life is worth living. Live for a long time. If you can outlive me, I'll give you all of my net worth. But I'm never gonna die. So you should try. Blitz. This why I was gonna come here and blitz you. Bib boppin', dropping lovins. We love you, Zhao. We thought you might be busy. What are you describing is called powerlessness. Yeah. Speak of the devil, Joe Bot. Love is true. I slept in so hard. I needed it. I've also been sleeping in pretty nicely. What is happening? We've been having like some thirsty people objectify me from a distance. Well, okay, not objectify more. And then we've also been talking about this balance, if you will, uh, between excitement and hope. How being excited about something can bring you hope, and having hope for something can be very exciting. And how, even though I have been very hopeful in various different states of excitement, and many of those things that I were hopeful for in the past might not even be a part of my present, I still appreciate it. And to this moment, still feel appreciative energy, like good vibes from having believed, hopefully, what things could be, right? There is so much more growth for us out here. It was literally like that with me. I had to be high to do everything, even watch TV and eat. Yep, that's the problem, right? Because it's again, it's like dopamine. Dopamine has this what's the word I'm looking for? Effect on your consciousness, where it facilitates it feeling like the rightness of it, how right it feels, right? That's what dopamine is. It's like the more dopamine you have experientially, the more okay, the more right, the more content even you feel with that experience, right? So as soon as you start messing with that dopamine like lever with like chemical means, now suddenly you know what it's like to very much be very content and like okay with whatever it is you're doing. You can literally be painting yourself with enamel paint. You know, you can like be like, this is the best feeling ever while you're painting yourself with enamel paint. If you overdo your dopamine, like your dopamine will tell you, this is fucking great. This is great. Whatever it is you're doing right now, painting himself with enamel, this is great. Because experientially, on the consciousness level, your consciousness like maybe not consciousness, the sensor level, right? It's like what your senses are telling the consciousness that you are. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Like I've seen some action. There's this one video of a guy that got very high on meth and then was given the task of like painting a guy's house. And then when the guy like walks back into his house, the guy like clearly overdid the amount of meth he smoked, and he just like painted himself and the entire inside of the building. And when I say entire, I mean the countertops. I mean the floors. Everything. Everything got painted. Nothing in that house it wasn't painted. Oh my goodness. It cracks me up. Like those are like my that's in my mind one of my worst nightmares, right? It's like being so out of it that I embarrass myself. So I've become very meticulous, pedantic. Me and Jovan like using that word. I'm a very pedantic person, pedantic to the max, maximum pedanticums. I too young to understand Chris Brown reference. Yeah, I'm happy that I never was interested. Respect for breaking that instead of covering it with denial, because that is what most people do. Yeah, I need a tolerance break from my edibles. How long should I take? I like taking a month off at a time, but 2 weeks is a good measure, right? 2 weeks is basically the amount of time you need to fully go through like the almost like the not detoxification cycle, almost like because you store so much actually like THC and stuff in your body as well and in your fat, so you'll end up still having like a baseline of the medicine in you for up to 2 weeks later. The longer you go, you know, like the way I see it is go for 2 weeks, see how you feel, all right, and then make your decision. I know you mentioned that you do use them for some pain supplement too, so it might not be that easy. 20 minutes should be fine. Imagine. Oh, love is true. I won't lie though, guys. Heroin was really dangerous, but the closest thing to heaven I felt. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's is you're touching something that is reserved for a very particular circumstance. That's the way you should see opioids, right? You have these not endo, you have these opioid receptors inside your body, and they are everywhere, literally all over you, everywhere. And their purpose is essentially to downregulate, I believe, the pain stimuli, right? And pain, unfortunately, is almost like a volume knob, right? And all of us have some level of base pain. And I believe that pain, in a way, keeps us grounded, keeps us in this reality, right? So when you slide that pain bar all the way down, you cease to be in this like embodied reality, and you are just in that state of painless bliss, right? Like that, falling onto like a feather bed, like squirming with like good feelings. Probably, I fortunately again haven't gone there, but that's kind of like the vibes I'm imagining when you like drop those pain receptors all the way down. And again, maybe that sounds great, and go and watch the Kirk Kazakh video about this topic as well. The problem is that it doesn't last. As soon as you're no longer in that intoxicated state, that pain bar comes back. But now because you forced it down, it has like a rebound effect where it jumps up higher than it was before. So you have to, again, you have like this literal, physical, on a whole body level signal being sent to you. We are now, after what just happened, in more baseline pain. Do something about it. And then it's as easy as, with like the fentanyls, taking a pill. Gunk. And now, oh, all of those little bars get dropped again. And then as soon as it wears out, it pushes up higher again. And then you have to push it harder and harder and harder. And unfortunately, people die continuing to push, because you have to take more, and then your lungs just stop breathing, you know. Like it is a symptom of our society. We are in a lot of pain collectively. So it makes sense that something that stops us from feeling pain would be abused. I imagine us finding better alternatives in the future. The ability to allow us to at the very least, just disconnect from our pain. Because what these opioids do is they make you feel less pain, right? And because it's a feeling adjacent thing, we're very swayed by our feelings. Human beings and feelings, GVs. Too swayed sometimes, right? So when it is a feeling thing, you'll feel like doing more. If we figure out how to switch it off, right, to disconnect from the pain, then you won't be feeling it, right? And that's kind of the point, at least in my mind. If I ever use something to like stop myself from feeling my back pain, it will only be like if it messes with my cognition, nope. But if it just makes me not feel the pain anymore, I'm like, bet. All right. But I don't know how far we are away from that. And I don't know if we're going to have to do like brain computer interfaces, you know, or if we'll be able to find some sort of localized substance that could like be, imagine like a topical or something. I won't lie, get some water. Portugal apparently has a really great drug policy. I've heard that. Where are you? I'm in South Africa. The Burbies be singums. There's some mountains out there that I've been looking at. It's nice having you here. Abdu Sayad, wanneer gaan jy Trump toe, Boeta? Volgende jaar Januari, oom. Toxicity for life. Love is true. Thank you, Sam. I like milk instead of water. I'm very thirsty. Yeah, milk can be good for you in moderation. Some people drink like a gallon of milk a day to bulk, give themselves extra calories. Benjamin Reigns, fact over feelings. Don't trust your heart. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also a facts over feelings kind of person. I try to be. I try to be very machine, very logical, but I am very emotional. That's why when it comes to my decision making, I'll let myself cry. I'll cry. I'll cry a bunch, but I won't make a decision because I'm crying. I won't make a final decision because I'm like, oh, I cried, so now I'm gonna make this life altering decision. Nope. I'll cry about it, but I'll hold it. I'll hold it. Like, what is the right thing for me to decide? What is the logical thing to do here? Freaking facts. Find me, you facts. Find me. Benjamin, thank you for sharing that. It's true. I'm in my 20s. You're definitely not in your 20s. I mean, guess what do you think? 2 weeks is long, but okay. It is long, it's true. You could do a week again, right? Do it by feel. It is your journey after all. When do I start on lower dosages? When I start again, you can, right? Again, tolerance can be seen as like a signal fatigue, right? Where every time you put the signal that is THC and CBD into your body, it reaches the endocannabinoid receptor. And when it bonds with that receptor, that signal is almost like transferred, right? So with tolerance, it's almost like those receptors are becoming less available or less sensitive to the signal transmission, right? Where the connection might happen, but because it's been used to so many of these cannabinoids, it like down regulates the amount of signal it sends when it receives the molecule input, right? So by taking a break, now suddenly your body has no extra cannabinoids putting in the signal, sending to your body down-regulate inflammation or whatever. So now it suddenly up-regulates again, like a signal thing. Up-regulates how loud that receptor is in listening for the cannabinoids in your body. And then when you go back into it, right? Like sure, if you like turn down the volume completely to zero, right, and your ears become like nice and sensitive, you could like have a good time just like blasting the music again when you start listening to music because you like the vibrations. But ideally, start start somewhere low and feel what it's like listening to the music and then maybe up it gradually. That would be my recommendation. But again, I'm no medical professional. I'm just some dude who has personal experience and I'm sharing my personal experience. Your mileage will vary. Everybody mileage vary. Everybody got different mileage. Wow! Why do you? That's because I squeezed you. Squeeze farts out of this dude, bro. Why you do that though? You need to go and fart somewhere else and then come over. Go and fart other places. Don't be farting close to me, dude. I scare you with my Nord snark. That was my guess, Adam Adamson. Definitely not in your 20s. Uh, then your hairy baby child. What? I had at least 13, Joe. Old enough to experience attraction, but not old enough to practice discernment. Yeah. I mean, like there is definitely many of those in their 20s. Many of people do not know discernment even in their 20s. You don't like it being upright? Uprightedness. Hmm? And then I put my legs down and he's like, bet. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. That's such a kid thing to say. I shave. I shave. Uh, yeah, yeah. I was 7 years clean, then was run over by a negligent driver, and I suddenly needed to be on morphine and opioids. It was rough. Hospital for 8 weeks, painkillers for like 4 years. Yeah, see. Yeah, I think that's also one of the things so dangerous about those things as well, is because again, it's like the lack of discernment. It's like they give these extremely powerful and highly addictive substances to unsuspecting victims, you know? Sometimes suspecting victims. Sometimes the victims suspect and then get exactly what they wanted, which is bad for them, you know? Yeah. Pattern shift. I understand that my body has needs. I take responsibility, and as needs, respectful action. As needed, respectful action. I find them, that resistance dissolves. Drugs are a hell of a drugs, kids. Don't do man-made drugs. Yeah. That is very good advice that Prairie Wolf just shared, right? The ones that men made, men more often than not, and this is me stereotyping, right? And I'm not trying to demonize men itself. I'm more trying to demonize the act of man, right? The stuff we as people do. As people, and especially in today's society, in our current capitalist regime era that we find ourselves in, we are incentivized to create something called a product, and then we need to market that product to a consumer, and then the better your product, the more of it is consumed, all right? And by those logics, man-made drugs came. Because as soon as you can make a product that will be consumed addictively in high quantities and you can charge a significant amount of money for it because there's a big illegal trade attached to it, uh, yeah, then you get man-made drugs. And again, they are made for the specific purpose of making you a forever consumer. They want you to continue to consume as much as regularly as possible, right? So anything that is made of that intent, you should stay far away from, because it's not made for you. It's made for the people selling it to you, right? And again, maybe experientially you think it feels nice, but chasing that feeling, chasing nice is not going to serve your life, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the cool thing. Let's call it cool about, like the mushrooms that grow out of the ground. It's like you'll eat some of them, right? Let's say you stumble upon a patch in a forest, right? And there's just like hundreds of pounds of it growing out there. And you know exactly what kinds they are and that they won't kill you. At least they won't kill your body, right? Your ego might not stand a chance. And then you proceed to try and abuse, right, those mushrooms. And you start to eat them from the ground. And you're just like eating them, yum, 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 right? And 40 minutes later, you're still pounding mushrooms. One, there's going to be so much volume in those mushrooms that you're not going to be able to eat that much of them. But let's say you're 40 minutes in and you're still going at them, right? You're still trying to eat as much of them as possible. Suddenly, you're going to get this knock on your door. The mushrooms have come home. And then they're going to let you know that you need to fucking stop. Whatever it is you're doing out there, they know that you're still eating more mushrooms and they're telling you to stop. That's the cool thing about those experiences as well, is they can be anti-addictive in that way. They'll be like, you need to stop. You need to stop doing that or we're going to mess you up a little bit, bro. Uh, so yeah, Mother Nature has built-in mechanisms to get you to not overindulge. The same thing for weed, right? Like if you do too much weed, it just like goofs you, just turns your brain into mush, and there's nothing of value there. And again, that is the sign that you've now overdone it. Where for me, if I feel like I've partaken of the right amount of cannabis, it kind of like softens my attention in the way that I apply it to being critical, right? Where if you make a grammar mistake and I'm completely sober, I am significantly more likely to correct you or say something about it than if I've smoked a little bit of weed. Because now I know that you're just a person and we make mistakes and you probably know what it is you're trying to say. And I can like almost like hold that softness, where in the sober state of mind, it's like, that's wrong. Then you correct it. You know, and egoically, you might even think you're doing a good thing. You might be thinking so you're doing them a service. But in the little bit more melted state of mind, you're like, I'm just gonna let them be, you know, I'm gonna love them softly from my side. Na 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 na. Sounds like you are using what we call the wise mind, which is the use of logical mind and emotional mind. Wise mind. That's awesome. I don't know if there's a word for it. I'd say, hi Melt, my butt twin and I are reacting on Facebook. Your butt twin? What the fuck? Yeah. Someone I want to date. Ah. I don't know how the butt twin. Like a twin is a sibling, bro. I don't know if you know that. But someone can't be your twin and not be your sibling at the same time. So I think like maybe that's why we're like, I'm like, maybe like use a different terminology. Uh, your butt buddy. Cool. Butt buddy is better than than butt twin. Twin. I don't use the word twin. No. Someone on a date. Hello, Sam. Wolf. You just took 60 grams. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Uh, have fun cleaning your sheets. That's my big boy. How, Melt? How do you have fun? I have fun the whole time, all the time. I never not have fun for the most part. What? What are you, lol? I am an alien. I am an alien. I look human, but I am in fact an alien. I am either a Palladian or I am a super advanced AI sent back to occupy a human body to contribute and in my own way steer reality towards the future that I got sent to avoid. What are you? What are you? Since we're asking for labels. How much land do you live on? This piece of land is 200 hectares. It's kind of sizable, but the part that I actually occupy and frequent is like 2 hectares. I don't know hectares, bro. Just ask. You ask Google. Ask Google. Be like, how many is 2 hectares in square? All right. I could comfortably walk all around this property in less than 5 minutes, I imagine. Yeah. But there is space. There's not many people out here. It's one thing to chew coca leaves, another to purify and concentrate it, is what I meant. Yeah, I agree with you. And like again, people in those areas still do utilize the coca leaves as they were originally, you know, meant to be used, to say it in that way. It's one thing. What's wrong with capitalism? I can't find a socialist model that's better. I don't have any problem. Well, I do have some problems with capitalism. Again, right? I have problems with unregulated capitalism. Unregulated capitalism gets you talcum powder in your protein, right? Or gets you ceramics in babies' food. Like that's what unregulated capitalism gets you, right? And that's my problem. That's what's wrong with it. Because again, if there is a financial model for me to sell you X amount of thing and charge you X amount, then again, there is an incentive for me to cut corners, to do whatever I can to make whatever I put in the thing I'm selling you as humanly cheap as possible, right? Even if it means putting things in that might be inert, but unprocessable by the human body because we have excess of it, right? Like that's what's wrong with it, right? And that's why I'm pro blockchain and stuff like that, because then suddenly we have a real means of authenticating, right? Of finding out whether or not this thing we're about to put in our body can in fact be trusted, right? We can trace it back to where it came from. Guy, forever adds up, okay. It's bigger than a billion, and consuming takes all that time away. Ah. Did you ever have the magic ones, lol? But weed is king. Yeah. Yeah. I've learned from this reality. Best you can do is start with breath work. Breath work will take you places. Jaman curly. I'm Jaman curly. I have curly hair, it's true. I don't know if I'm Jaman curly. Are you taking? I've vaped a little bit of marijuanas. I haven't had any caffeine today. I'm way too addicted to caffeine. 250 milligrams is a must. I like caffeine. Caffeine, that's the one I want right now. Joe, we are definitely, and this is my own bias, but we are definitely going to be a G Fuel family. All right. I'm gonna make you some G Fuel in the mornings. Because again, just like if you get some L-theanine and caffeine, those two together, and like you can add like a full stack technically. You can add a bunch of stuff to it to almost like create more frequencies on which your brain is just like being uplifted a little bit. I'll make you some caffeine. I can't wait to make you some tea and coffee. G Fuel too. Love is true. I haven't been having caffeine as much as of late. I'm fasting today. Today is Monday, so fasting. I can't technically drink a black coffee, and I did consider doing so, but I didn't feel the need to. My best trip on shrooms was camping in a British Columbia rainforest. I was a wood nymph, bathing in a creek, eating wild raspberries. Yeah, yeah, just like that, living life, right? Really just suspending the illusion of the modern existence and just existing, actually just being like, as you said, being a wood nymph, being in the trees, being like, wow, eating some raspberries, bathing in the creek, as you said. And sure, it's, I feel like we should give ourselves experiential moments like that. And what I wanted to say with that, and sure, we probably wouldn't want to do that indefinitely. It would probably not be great 5 weeks in, right? It's like after you've wood nymphed and lived under the trees and eaten only eaten only wild raspberries, right? And your clothing is starting to change shades of color and becoming a little bit more crispy than you expected them to be. Then it's gonna be like, okay, I'm kind of like ready for that society thing again. But having that balance is what we're going to need, Prairie Wolf. Recovering alcoholic and shit, but thankful. I quit hard stuff and I smoke weed always for medical reasons. And recently, coming off benzos, good taper because fuck the doctors. But word, caffeine powers. Yeah, I'm happy that you're off the benzos, bro. Yeah, benzodiazepine are again some of those things that just do not really serve you. It serves a function, but it doesn't serve you. May I ask a question for you all? I want to do shrooms to connect deeper within myself, but I don't want to fully trip out since I get bad anxiety. Any tips on how much to take? So we cannot provide you with any information like that, Alexis, because again, none of us are medical professionals. One, and your mileage may vary. The thing with anxiety is, and like this is what I'll share from my experiential perspective, and then you can apply this to your own life the way that you see fit. Anxiety is is a matter of not being properly connected with your reality. Right? We're usually anxious when we're scared, when we're unsure, when we're uncertain about what's going to happen next. That's where anxiety usually stems from. And the psychedelic experience, in my experience, can bring with it an intensity and an increase in those anxious experiences. but it also has this strange effect, let's call it, where it will show you, or at least if you're willing enough to be aware, you'll realize that your anxieties are one, very much self-perpetuated. It's almost like you're like cranking the flywheel. You have to keep cranking that flywheel, otherwise it like will stop spinning. So it shows you your own hand in your own anxieties. That's what it's done for me at the very least, right? So in that, I cannot give you any advice other than get better, get better at not cranking that flywheel, right? And there are a bunch of ways outside of the psychedelics to kind of do that. You can start with like just breath work. You can start with some yoga. You can start with taking your sleep just a little bit more seriously. And if you can get those things done, you'll notice that your level of anxiety might reduce in some ways as well. Finding proper set and setting, another, like if you're absolutely going to go into the experience, where it is you're going to be doing it is of utmost importance. What state you're in, right? If like for instance, right, like in this is one of those moments where it's like forbid, but for instance, you live in a country, right? Let's say you live in Japan. Let's say you live in Taiwan, right? You're a Taiwan citizen. And then you hear on the news, right, that your city is like maybe on the coast, closest to China. And you hear on the news that there are a bunch of Chinese naval ships actively approaching, not heeding any communications, right? Just barreling forward to the shore, right? That is instantly going to, even though you might be now experientially in a safe space, your house, because of that setting, right? You're going to instantly have this baseline increase of anxiety of like, oh no, what are they going to do? Are they going to try and wage war on Thailand, on Taiwan? Are they going to try and take it, right? And if you then decide, okay, now I'm going to eat, 5 grams of mushrooms, maybe the 5 grams would help. But if you say I'm going to eat only 1 gram of mushrooms, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a real bad time because now suddenly your imagination will facilitate this circumstance, this setting that you have now given yourself, right? Oh, getting invaded by China. Now extra worried about that, right? So in that way, it's of utmost importance where it is you are on your own timeline, where it is you are in your own space, if you're going to be disturbed or not, if you have someone to call, if you're going to be in a bad space just to talk to. Like there's so many different variables. I would love to, of course, one day be able to properly facilitate and help people with this, but in this medium, doing your own research is the best that you can do. Maybe this is in part a little bit of your own research as well. Do it in a natural environment with friends you love and trust, Alex, and do very little amounts. That's very good advice. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to do a lot. Like it's like it's information. It's like sometimes being overwhelmed by information is just not good. It's not nice, right? Nobody likes that experientially. But getting the right amount of information, getting interesting information can be, good experientially. And what Prairie Wolf said about natural environment and with friends that you love, now that is a set and setting, right? The natural environment is the set, and the setting is with friends that you love, right? People that are going to make you feel comfortable. Come to India. I look forward to it. I'm betting this guy never had a job. I've had 3 jobs, 2 jobs, technically. One of my jobs was working as a AV installer slash project manager. So I would sometimes do sales, and then I would be tasked to implement, right? Projectors for boardrooms, set up their microphones, create like cat pulled, almost like they call them like, I think like relays. So you have like a little cat box, and then that cat box connects to the microphone and HDMI outputs, and then you run that cat cable all the way to the server room, and then you connect that to a rack, and then you connect that rack to the outputs on the TVs. So like I know how to do all of that stuff, right? But it was grinding my soul, and I was like, I don't, I really dislike pulling cables. Just that part. Just like getting cables through a hole that they're not made for, actually. Or the people that build the building really didn't consider how much cable would be coming through this hole. And then you have to like struggle. Something so trivial, but it fucking drives me insane. And then I complained about the person I was then talking to about that circumstance. And then she told me that there is work available for me in China. And then I ended up going there. I worked in China for a year and a half. And then that chapter closed as well. And then when I came back, I decided that I tried, working in the tech industry to just like do installations and stuff. And I tried to be a teacher in a more traditional sense of the word. But both of those times, my time wasn't my own, and I didn't have any say on what it is I wanted to do, right? What I wanted to do was of no consequence. I had something to do, right? Something had to be done, right? And I was told what had to be done, and I couldn't abide by that. I felt like I was losing my mind. And so I started to do this. I told myself what to do, and here we are, years later now. Bunches have changed, and I still have more and more hope every single day. Going to work and getting paid. Yeah, I got paid for both of those jobs. In the meanwhile, I've been getting paid for doing YouTube streams. I've been getting paid for doing art on Patreon. And I've been getting paid because I became a certified yoga teacher. Because of this live stream, someone found me, hit me up, told me they'd be willing to sponsor my yoga teacher training if I'd be willing to teach at their studio, right? And I've been doing that. So I'm employed at a yoga studio where I teach a daily class. And then I started a business as well during this time where I do visuals for festivals. And I've done a total of 4 festivals, one in-house event, and actually 5 festivals and one in-house event, right? I did White Rabbit, then I did the first conclave party, then I did the indoor conclave party, then I did the sound room conclave party, then I did the outdoor conclave party this September, and then I also did that indoor visuals for venue 6, right? So I've been hired for 6 different instances to do my work for them as well in that way. And I got paid for 5 of those instances. White Rabbit, they didn't pay me, bummer. And then one of the indoor events was just like for nice. They didn't expect there to be visuals even, but I did it anyway because I wanted to. I wanted the visuals. I wanted the visuals too. Yeah, but the rest of them, like brought a significant amount of money into the business. And then I also got hired to be like a cameraman slash influencer for a slapping competition brand. Earned earned a couple of $100 there as well. So I am employable, and when I'm employed, I meet all of my obligations to the T. Nobody has ever given me money and not received the service they paid for, ever. And I abide by that. Something I'm very proud of. You're wrong, Brax. He does it for like 3 years without a day off. Bad judgment on your part. Yeah. I just like hippie it out, however I want to. Did you come here to engage in discussion or get to know us, or did you come here to attempt to rile up the hippies? Be honest. I'm here to take the piss. Yeah, checks out. But now that you have taken your piss, right, and I have let you know how things are, maybe that's the perspective that you needed. And again, these opportunities give me the chance to try and share, right? Tell my own story a little bit, because that's one of the big things that when someone casts a judgment, usually a baseless one, right? The ego has this imperative of being like, no, actually, these are the ways in which that is not factually. Thank you for being honest. The moderators pay attention. get too out of hand and you're gone. I'm tired today. My patience is rather thin. That being said, I'll be aiding in the eating of distasteful noise here. Love is true. Love is true. Thank you, friends, for joining us. You got fairy wings. These be my fairy wings. Yeah, this is a scarf that TJ sent me. This is the very first scarf that somebody sent me from America. Very nice. I like it. He sent me a bunch of photos alongside it of the building in which he bought it. And to imagine that I will now be going there. Not to that building, but to America. I'm looking forward to it. The wind has now cooled down as the sun is setting behind me. There is a doggo looking for lap space. A Dynavap heats up as Melt gets ready to read his poem and show his audience a flower. I'm from New York. When are you coming to the USA? Plan is for next year, AI. Or L. Plan is next year. Next year, end of January. I believe it's going to be. I'm super excited for it. My brother is going to be getting married next year, 21st of January. And I wanted to be there for him. Otherwise, we possibly would have probably left sooner, you know. Ended up on that side in this year still, but 2026 sounds like a good number. Yeah. I got that new beginnings, that number one energy. That's nice, right? I'm super stoked. I'll add one more heat cycle, and then I'll have to go and fetch my tablet. I haven't been using it all stream. I don't know if I seemed less distracted because of it. I'm wondering about stuff like that sometimes. Love is stream. You want to stay in the US of A or just visit? I'm coming to marry one of your citizens. One of your citizens will become my betrothed. Well, is my betrothed. Will become my wife. How about that for a trip? I met her here, L. I met her here, bro. She found me in this space. She found me just like this, as you are finding me right now. She found me. Now, 4 years later, we're going to start a chapter of our life together. Isn't that wholesome? I think so. I'm starting to bring all of my stuff like I'm gonna take them all back, but I should go and get my tablet first and come back here to you, friends. Oh, nice. Have you ever been to America? Nope, never. That sounds threatening. Marrying one of your citizens. I am marrying one of your citizens. I hope to not be threatening. I'm coming friendly, I promise. I'll treat your citizen the bestest. She knows though, at the very least. I am coming for your citizens. I am coming back in a second. Whew. I am back again. It is I, one of your citizens. Right, Wolf? I like it. It's a quest he's completing. It is. Absolutely. Right. I saw the window pop up, when Joe Bot's name joined in. It's like, marry Joe Bot. And I've just been grinding this whole time. You know, absolute big grind. California is a nightmare right now. I'm not coming to California, fortunately. I'm gonna go and live in Indiana. Oh, I'm gonna get to live in the same esque way of in the middle of nowhere itness as I am in this moment, right? Which serves me greatly. I'm gonna probably go out and find places to stream, ideally, right? Have big old forest in the background. I look forward to it. Can I share a short poem from the 1870s? Surely. I probably will have a fun time reading it. I might butcher much of it, but I'm down. I'm getting colder and colder, but I think it's good. I think I need to be cold. Need to be cold so I can keep that frequency up. Zoom, 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 zoom. Right, Wolf? Like it's a quest he's completing. It is I, one of your citizens. So, in that note, what do we start calling you, Lady Melt? Yeah. I think Jobot is nice. Jobot is a cute name, right? And then we can like boost her brand recognition because Jobot is a token that people will want to own. Jobot, my token in Jobot has like freaking skyrocketed, in fact. Like literally. I did. I did buy like $150 of Jovan's work, but it's worth like $450 now. You're like, surely you're joking. No, no. Joe Bot is printing money. It's money print. I bet you don't even eat hair. Yeah, see, bro. You would have been making fat stacks if you bet big. Oh, because you'd be betting right. Eating hair. I've never had the compulsion to. I've always had access to it. You know, but it's never like dawned on me to like start consuming it. I know that some people do though. I wonder why that is. I think it's called some sort of condition. I am back. How's everything going? I'm getting colder, but we're having a good time. I have tied rope from steeple to steeple, flower, garland from window to window, golden chain from star to star, and I dance. Rimbaud. That's the whole thing? That is nice. Hmm. Jesus loves you, and I do too. Hope you have a good day. Thank you. That's nice. I love you too, dear friend. Bless ya. May you be blessed. May Jesus smile the brightest smile on your life, like warm sunlight basking you on a cold day. Bless you, extra. I have tied a rope from steeple to steeple, flower garland from window to window, golden chains from star to star, and I dance. That is sick. I do like that. That is pretty good. It makes me happy. Sam, it would take me such a long time to realize Lady Melt was me. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you talking about? His sister? His mom is Melt Mom. Lady Melt. Uh, right. I don't mind Jobot more. That still has a ring to me, right? But that's the surname, right? It's still Jobot. Jobot more. But yeah, Lady Melt sounds derogatory. Jovan is more than just Melt more. Oh, so much love to you. I'm not trying to cast shade. I hope at the very least. I know you're asking from an endearing place, Sam. It's like, how can we honor this friend? Just be kind. That's all I could ever ask. Be kind to the ones that I love. That's all we can ever hope for. Love is true. Melt is Caspian. What does that mean? Caspian. I'm not Caspian. How dare you? What? Uh, what does it mean to be Caspian? It added a T. I'm back again. This thing is searching for orangutan. So many burbies making their sounds. Yeah, this thing is like, it doesn't understand. What does it mean to be Caspian? What does it mean? Do you know what it means to be Caspian? You know. He was like ready to run away, and he was like, "Ah." I wasn't that irritated. I would lie if I said it wasn't nice to have the added warmth. It is getting cold. It definitely is. It does make it a little bit harder for me to show you the flower. I mean Caspian. You actually meant Caspian from the Chronicles of Narnia. It went down that rabbit hole. It like actually went down where it's like literary and symbolic significance in L and C.S. Lewis's Prince Caspian, perhaps the most renowned figure bearing the name Prince Caspian, embodies nobility, bravery, and a deep sense of purpose from the Chronicles of Narnia. Man, his narrative imbues the name with a mythic, heroic quality. That's wholesome, bro. Thank you. Did you spread your fairy wings yet? Paradox the Forever. Is that another person that's talking about the fairy wings? The fairy wings? Urgh. Spreading the barrel wing. I look more like some sort of, I feel like bat than a fairy, but bless. Thanks. Thanks. I like it. I'm gonna now show you something pretty. That's some fairy shit to do, actually. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have yourself, have you some fairy wings. There's some dude there. Oh, you them Joe. With them hard eyes, looking at me so lovingly. Jeeves. Sure does make me a hap hat. Hey. Hmm. All right. There's more and more burpee sounds coming online. I'm gonna add some Boganeth to this one. I pulled it out too fast. There we go. Then I'm gonna do like a selectio. So this mic is now twice as loud as this one is because I added 6 extra decibels. but the birdies do be singing. So I'm gonna add this microphone up there, and then we'll read our poem together. That is for you all, but it is very much done with Jovan in mind. Me and Jovan do like ourselves the Burbies, and she mentioned to me that she does, like when I do the live streams with just a normal device, the microphone soundstage is very open, so all of the Burby sounds come through a little bit more clearly. Where with this one, because it's better technology, it's a lot more isolated, so you actually end up not hearing the Burbies as much. That whole tree is filled with burbs. I'm pointing the microphone directly at it. All right. Crown and crown. Here's the honest thing about rising. The air gets thin, the view gets wild, and pride starts speaking in surround sound. Confidence says, go bigger. Humility says, go kinder. Both are right. Hold both. When the room tilts towards you, tilt back towards the room. If the spotlight finds your face, use it to light more faces. Wear your courage like sunrise, warm purple orange, welcoming. Wear your humility like gravity, steady, invisible, true. Remember the first tries, the wobble, the almosts. Keep those in your pockets so your wins don't float away. If the mic lands in your palm, share it. If your name gets called, echo others' names. Let the wind bow to the work. Let the work bow to the people. Power wants volume. Humility wants signal. Turn yourself up. Tune yourself in. Stand tall in what you can do. Stay low to listen for what you missed. Say, I can, and in the next breath, say, I can learn. Treat applause like weather, nice when it comes, irrelevant to the season you're growing. Purpose is climate, gratitude is ballast. Carry a ladder to your pedestal, bring chairs to your stage, make your crown a halo. Big enough the team. And when chaos shakes the floor, be a moving balance. One hand on your heart, one hand reaching back. Feet sure enough for the next right step. Rise as far as your courage will take you. Bow as often as your heart reminds you. Let love be the reason you climb. And the way you stay human at the top. Whew. I didn't expect this poem to kick my ass as hard as it did. It feels just like what I needed to hear with today's stream topic as well. Being human. Having the excitement and hopes for what the future will hold. The higher you go, the more on top you seem. All right. And it is one of the biggest things that I fear is like, how do I stay humble? How do I stay human? James, love is the reason to climb. And that is what we're doing it for. Love is true. I'm functioning properly, even if at a bit of a slower pace. All is well. Hope you're well too. So much love. Hey, Emily. Thank you for joining. We're at the end of today's live stream. It was nice to have you. Thank you for joining me. It's always a blessing. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow, though. Right. Another opportunity for us to grow and share. Become. Become even more. Go higher. Rise and rise. This dude just like watching me from the top. What then? Saying goodbye for today. I do one of these every day. And today's is getting right now. I thank you again. Love to you. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye. Love you. Beautiful job. Beautiful friends. Thank you again for being here today. Until tomorrow.